Welcome to episode 5 of New Money Talks, where we talk about all things new money.
Yes, sir.
That's a good start.
That's a first guest who's intro the podcast. I think we might have to make that a tradition.
Might have to make that a thing.
Hey,
that was definitely way better than mine. But yeah, so
Let's jump into it.
Anyways, we brought on our good friend Andrew Yu to share some business experiences and hopefully provide some sauce, especially if you're in the e-commerce industry. But even if you're not in the e-commerce industry, I think there'll be a lot to learn. So for those of you who are listening, thank you in advance. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Of course. Make sure you comment. Yeah, subscribe. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you're listening, watching. Just give us something because we're trying to get up there.
Yeah.
This is a cool one, though, because I think the last two guys have been agency owners.
Okay.
And my boy over here does not run an agency.
No, I only
the ecom brands.
Shopify dropshipping.
Shopify dropshipping, which I know a lot of the audience is probably kind of in that space, which is interested in that. Cool. It's really cool. And it's very difficult right now. So I'm excited to kind of hear what you have to say about it. But
yeah, for sure.
Before any of that, we want to learn more about our guy over here, right?
Yeah. So first and foremost, you're kind of like, I don't want to hype you up too much, but you're kind of like, you're one of the low key ones in the industry because a lot of people, including myself, you get like a good store, it hits off, and then you're like immediately like, all right, I want to do YouTube, I want to get on Instagram, I want to like make a personal brand and like, maybe help other people or do whatever. But I feel like I feel like a lot of people who are listening probably don't know who you are, but you have a lot to share, probably a lot of value, and you've done a lot and accomplished more than most of the gurus that have made the YouTube videos and have done the bullshit. And a lot of them, we do too. And usually the people who aren't as, I guess, vocal on social media are the ones who are actually working on the businesses and having fun. Like they actually have a balanced life. I feel like people who do crush it in the e-commerce industry, they almost have to fill the extra time with some work, whether it's YouTube or like coaching or something, just to like say that they're like working 12, 14 hours a day, but like that's not the end goal for most people. Mm-hmm. So anyways, we'd be doing a disservice if we tried to intro you and talk about everything that you do. So why don't you give a quick 2-3 minute intro on what it is that you do now, and I guess what kind of got you there. Mm-hmm. And you could be as descriptive or as brief as you want, and then we'll just see where the conversation goes.
Tell us who you are, what you do, and the whole
nine. Yeah. So, my name is Andrew Yu. Like they said, I've been doing dropshipping for like 3 or 4 years now, and that's actually all I do. Yeah. All I do is dropshipping. I was like, do I play football? No, I don't do anything like that. But I just been dropshipping. I recently just started doing mentoring because I see a lot of people have been doing that so far for Q4. And like you said, like when you get your first store popping off, you kind of just want to go on YouTube and be like, hey, I'm the new guru and these sell courses. But at first, I was like not really into that, but I can see the value in that now.
100%.
Because I have a few students under my wing. The money that comes in is pretty good too, but the feeling that they message you and go like, hey, got my first sale, like that's 100%. Like one of the best feelings ever. And with that, they actually help you a lot too, because then when they start getting sales, they learn new stuff and then they can help you out. It's like a relationship kind of thing. So right now I'm running 2 brands, trying to run a couple more for Q4. And I'm teaching around 10 students right now under my wing.
So, hell yeah. Tell us the story of how you even found dropshipping. Because usually that's always the most interesting to me, like, especially like us too. Like any guy we interview, it's like, how the hell did you find Shopify? like where'd you start type of thing? Like did you have a job? Did you go to college? Like what's the whole story with that too?
All right. So like any like Asian out there, I had to be a doctor, doctor, engineer, something. So I went to Brooklyn College. I tried to get my software engineering degree because I'm Asian. So I thought like, hey, maybe computer is good for me. Flunked that literally F. Like I couldn't even answer like the first question on the final. But I was like, all right, I gotta find something else to do. So I actually started making Minecraft servers for like little kids, and I had like some success in that. I would say my biggest month was maybe like $10,000 to $12,000 in revenue, and for Minecraft it's like 90% profit margin because all you have to pay for is just the server cost and stuff like that. But I did that, and I also ran some partnership Minecraft servers with like some big YouTubers now. I don't know, I want to say the names yet, but they have like right now almost 10 million subscribers combined. And when I first met them, they had 1 million.
What is a Minecraft server? Like I have no idea what you're even talking about. Like
really?
What does that mean?
Oh wow!
Is it like the game? Minecraft. I know obviously,
Minecraft.
You do it on PC, mobile apps, all this stuff. I know my girlfriend's younger brother is addicted to it now. The whole Minecraft themed birthday party.
Like what do you like? What the hell are you selling?
Like what does the server allow them to do within the game or the?
Yeah, so when I created the server, there was stuff like something called Skyblock, and it's basically you build a base in the sky. That's like a game mode. And there's something called factions. It's basically like a clan or a guild, and you kind of build it out and like raid other people. There's a lot to it, but I don't want to get into specifics, or else this podcast is gonna be like 4 hours.
All about Minecraft.
Is it like you're almost creating a community in a sense, like within the game that
I think you're selling that.
Opt into?
Not selling. So while you're in the game, how I made my money would be there are these things called ranks, and when you buy the ranks, you get extra stuff like extra items, maybe extra commands. Like if I can give an example, like everyone just starts walking, but then if you buy like one of the higher ranks, like $100, you could do /fly as a command, and they can start flying. Stuff that gives you cool stuff like that. So especially when you build a server that has, I think my max was like 300 players at one point. That's when the good money comes in. But yeah, the 300 players was with the YouTubers, so I only saw 1/3 of that. Because I was partnered up with 2 YouTubers, so that was my biggest month. It was probably like 8 to like 10 grand.
Maybe you should have stuck with that too, with the big YouTubers.
Dude, I should have
automated it, built a team around it. That's sick.
It's actually my first regret is actually not continuing with it. It's actually my fault because when the YouTubers, I got greedy. I was like, dude, this split, they're making way. I guess I don't think I had like a 33%. I probably had like 20. I was like, I'm doing all the work here, but I was 18. I was dumb. I didn't see the value of the YouTubers because, like they basically brought all the players in.
Well, they were selling it, and you were building it.
They did a client acquisition. You did service delivery in a sense.
Yeah, and actually, I needed them more than they needed me because, hey, once I broke a relationship with them, they're like, all right, cool. They found a new guy. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, like what can I do here? So I started my own server, like 20 players, like, and I was not used to that. So after that, I was like, hey, I need to find something else. Or maybe I wasn't even actively looking, but I was on YouTube. I saw like a video. I forget who it was. It has to be like one of the earlier ones, like Dan DeSilva or like one of the earlier ones. But yeah, I saw a video, and actually, no, I do remember who it is. Shout out to Scott Hilsey because it was him. Yeah. I watched one of his videos. I think it was like moving into my new apartment. And I was like, damn, that apartment looks nice. I always love like the floor to ceiling windows and like the views.
Now you got
it. Yeah.
We'll talk about that later, but yeah, go on.
So I saw that. I'm like, all right, this guy, he looks young. He looks like he knows what he's doing with this stuff. And he mentioned Shopify dropshipping. And the business concept is really simple. Hey, find a product. You probably get it from the supplier for like $5 to $10 and just sell somebody else for $30. And until you get paid, you don't pay the supplier costs. So I was like, wow, that sounds really simple. Turns out it really wasn't that simple.
Yeah. A little more than that.
But after that, I started out, and the first, I would say 3-4 stores, they completely flopped. Like, I remember I was getting, let's say I spent $1,000 on ads, I'll get $1,000 back. For the people that are listening, they're like, oh, you broke even. Nah, not really. Yeah, because I had to pay for the suppliers and the product cost. But kept trying, and one finally popped off. And I wish I could tell you guys right now, but I'm still running that product. It's like, it's like it's
not many people can say that.
Yeah, it's an evergreen product. So
like 3 years later, 4 years later.
Yeah, it's still running strong. So
damn.
Yeah, so yeah, I just basically I was like, all right, so I actually got comfortable for a while. So after the first product popped off, that's all I had. So for 6 months to a year, I only ran one product, and then
were you scaling it or just kind of keeping it steady?
I always kept it around $2,000 in revenue, and I was like, yo, I'm good right here.
Like
I was
$2K a day. That's
and I was making maybe like 20% margins, so like
that's solid.
And some days 10%, but it averages out to like 15 to 20%. And at that point, I was like 18. I was like, all right, whatever. It's making good money. My rent was like $1,000 a month, so I was like, all right, this is fine. But then eventually, I was like, all right, I need to break that mark. So I just kept going higher and higher and higher. And I think my biggest day in dropshipping from one store alone was probably like around 30,000 in revenue. And that kept up for like a couple days. Like I would say like almost 2 weeks where it was like $20,000 to $30,000 every single day. But yeah, that's basically how I started off, and that's where I'm at now.
Yeah, so you said that you got into Minecraft more at like 18 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I skipped out some stuff. Probably I started around 14 just playing the game for fun. And then eventually I was like, hey, why don't I make a server for my friends? And then I'm like, wait. So I guess I was an entrepreneur from the start because in middle school, I was charging my friends to play in my Minecraft server because no one knew how to do it. And I was like, all right, cool. Join my server, give me $10 per week. I was running that recurring business already.
Go, $40 a month. Not bad.
Yeah, from just one person. So I feel so bad now, but they were literally just not eating lunch and like, all right, here's the money so I can play on your server. Because it's obviously a lot more fun playing with your friends than playing alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, I was like, all right, so let me do that, but public. And that's how I scaled it up.
I like that.
And then the timeline as far as when you got into e-commerce, that was around 18.
Yeah, I was around 18. I just dropped out of college just because I was already making like I would say 5 to 10 grand a month on just Minecraft.
You dropped. So how long were you in college for? Like a week?
Nah, it was definitely not a week. It was like a semester. I failed the final first, and then I was like, all right,
like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. Before Minecraft, I actually did. Do you guys know Maple Story, the game?
Maple Story. What is that? No.
It's another game. Don't worry about it. But I just basically made servers for Maple Story 2.
Okay.
And then I went to Minecraft, and then I hopped into ecom. But I would say ecom is definitely the most lucrative one out of all three.
That's cool. I mean, we always talk about like the things that you do that might not pan out as long term as you think they will. They're still like vital stepping stones to where you are now. So I don't know, like how did that influence your ability to pursue e-commerce and then have success with it? Do you think it's the fact that you set up a bunch of servers and a lot of them were really hard to do, or there was a lot of learning curves, but you figured it out at the end of the day? Or do you think it was like you had the capital from that allowed you to be able to deploy that into e-commerce? Like, how did that maybe help you?
Because most guys that have one product that flops and they're done.
Yeah.
like what made you do 5, 6? Like, how'd you know this was going to work?
And how did that help you?
Right. So I guess I'm kind of lucky that ecom was actually like my third business to say, because the first two, I wouldn't say they failed. They did it all right, but then obviously they failed. So I guess you use those as like stepping stones and like learning and stuff like that, because they weren't easy businesses either. And to be honest, I actually did a lot more work for the Minecraft thing, because I'll work like, okay, for now I actually don't work that much, so maybe like 2 hours a day if I wanted to. But back then I'll work from literally, if I get off from school, 4 p.m. all until like 11 p.m. Just working on like updates for the game and like making the players happy. I guess from that's where you learn like a work ethic, and that's what I did for dropshipping. And even though sales weren't coming in the beginning, I just kept building the website. I always thought that the website was like the selling point. Turns out it's not. It's literally just a product. So back then I'll learn all about like making the website look nice and everything. But I recently just found out that it's not, and I'll tell you why. I accidentally turned off everything on my website except for the add to cart and shop now button. Like, so you know how there's a description on your website, and there's also some themes. If you scroll down, there's a sections like it'll show like cool stuff.
Images, GIFs.
You just had a product.
You just had the product image, add to cart.
I didn't even have reviews.
You didn't. Nothing.
Damn.
Nothing. I had literally, if you go on the thing, it will show like the variant picture. Add to cart, buy now. I had that on for a week. I didn't know, by the way.
Oh, shit.
I don't know how I messed up there, but I didn't know. And eventually one of my friends was like, I think it was Kevin, my friend. He was like, hey, your website's empty, by the way.
Fucked up.
Yeah, and I was like, really?
I didn't even know sales were fine.
Yeah, sales were consistent. I was like, oh, okay. So that's when I realized your website does not really matter.
What happened when you fix it?
Same thing. But I feel like it's better to have it if you did the work already. But
honestly, that was kind of funny because like a lot of like brands, they care so much about making a nice website. Like people like, oh, I want to make my homepage look nice.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing in e-commerce is the homepage is the last thing that matters.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the product page, and like honestly, the product page doesn't even matter. Like you're saying, like if there's demand on the product, right? It's just like, all right, it's gonna sell.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that I've seen, like just through running an agency and working with dozens of brands, is that honestly, the better the landing page you make, I think this is a theory. I can't obviously prove this, but I think Facebook, these marketing platforms, they can like crawl the landing page and they can almost detect when it's better, or where when you're using more apps or when you're using more code, all these things, and there's kind of more baggage to it, but it's almost perceived as though you're a brand that can afford a higher CPA. And so they'll crawl the landing page. No, but hear me out. Like all the best brands, they're not the ones who get the lowest CPAs. They're the ones that have the highest LTVs, right?
That's fair.
And they all have like $20, $30, $40 CPMs. They're not worried about that metric, that CPM. But again, the ad platform could be crawling it and say, hey, we know they could probably afford a $20, $30, $40 CPM.
So just give them
which for those of you who are listening who don't know, CPM is cost to reach as many people, cost to reach 1,000 people. And so you want that to be as low as possible. You want your cost to be low. But if the platform looks at the brand and the website and says, this is really good, this looks like someone who knows their shit did it, then we're going to charge them a little bit more, and they're still going to keep pumping spend. And they're going to keep coming back to us. So that's my working theory. And there's been a lot of instances of that happening where the fucking debut theme gets an 8 CPM.
Oh, debu's the best theme.
And then this advanced.
I use Motion right now, but
Motion?
yeah.
Debut and Debutify,
but like the themes that are like the simplest, the oldest, the most basic, and like a simple landing page structure, those a lot of times will get the lowest costs, even though they might not convert as well. If you're getting a $7 CPM and you're getting a 2% conversion rate, that's better than if you're getting a 4% conversion rate but at a $30 CPM. And so like some of the brands that we work with that have the best websites ever just have sky high CPMs, no matter what strategies you run, this, that. And it's more about optimizing the LTV. Whereas in the dropshipping space, a lot of these stores that are doing really well, they look like shit. But the CPMs are just super low and it converts and the product is good. So yeah.
Well, this is good. You're giving sauce before you even ask for the sauce. Yeah. Sauce right there. No, it's true because a lot of guys like
simple is better.
Like simple is better, where it's like, look, I'd say two things matter. Like the product, I think number one, number two is the creative. Like the website's probably the third thing.
5 years ago, it didn't. Now, 100%.
Now that, but even so, like you did need winning creatives. Like back in the day, you'd go on Facebook, see what had like 9 million views, and you just copy the video. You know what I mean? Now you can't. You probably can, but like
I still do.
Still do. Yeah. So like the creative does matter, but like that creative's only doing well because there's demand on that product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you're right. Yeah. Like literally. It was funny, actually. We had dinner with somebody. It was Carl. Like, remember, what was it, like a month ago?
Yeah.
He does like CRO for websites. His name's like Carl Weish.
Conversion rate optimization.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And he didn't say it, but somebody at the dinner was like, during, like, it's a really good time to pump dropshipping stores right now because there's so much just pent up demand for just random products. Because it's the season. So as long as you just like pretty much feed it like a month earlier before like the holiday, probably too late right now, probably like September. If you started in September, you're going to have sales in November and December if you have a solid product. You know what I mean?
I actually disagree with that part.
Really?
Where you were like, it's probably too late to start now. Okay. I've started stores literally the night before Black Friday. Like literally that night. And I've seen
ballsy.
But and you've seen it work.
Yeah, just because, well, if you have issues with like ad accounts and BM and stuff like that, just because I've seen where the timelines where you start in like around September, you get banned like maybe like right before the holidays.
And then you're screwed.
Yeah, and then you're screwed. And then they're like, it's kind of like sometimes Facebook has its runs where you can only advertise for like a month or two. And if you start September, your timeline might end like right before Black Friday. That's only for me though. I mean, I've seen other people go like, hey, September is where I start like 10 of my stores and just scale it out. But I'm also like a person that procrastinates a lot. So I'm like, if you give me 30 days to do, I'm doing it on the 30th day.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. It's not like the best attribute to have, but like I said, I've done that during like the day before Black Friday, and
it's so ripped.
Yeah, it's rips. And then guess what? My accounts get banned around December 15th or something like that. And by that time, I'm already like I already scaled it already. And that's generally December like 16th, 17th is where sales slow down just because it doesn't make it in time for Christmas. And I've seen that across all my stores, my friends' stores, the Guru stores, everybody's stores.
Multiple years too.
The Guru stores.
Every year, yeah.
Yeah, so that's yeah. But that guy, what was it, Carl?
Yeah, Carl Weiss.
Yeah, he's gonna hate this podcast because he's like, damn, websites matter and everything. But
no, I mean
for him,
he serves more like D2C, like
he serves bigger, like direct to consumer, like 10, 20, $30 million brands.
Oh, okay, maybe those maybe like even 1% conversion rate,
even like a 0.5% like make a huge difference. Because like I guess if you're pumping like $10 million, a little tweak can make a big difference. He charges like crazy amounts.
Yeah, I mean it's like dropshipping. It's like, you know, you could sell a $20 product, you could sell a $2,000 product. It's like most people aren't selling the $2,000 products, but you sell fewer of them. You work with, you know, you deal with better customers. You don't have as many issues. We got a product in this room. I don't want to give it away because it's a good ass product, but you know, that one right there, if you can see it, you know, for those of you listening, those of you watching, it's a high ticket product, and high ticket products, it's kind of like, you know, same thing with the high ticket services we're talking about. You deal with less customers, and usually you get to, you know, they get to go through that experience of a higher quality because you focus on them. But But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. Like, have you ever thought to go into like more branding world, or you're just like dropshipping is it? I like it.
So my first product, I went that route.
So you went that route.
So my first product ever popped off. Before the podcast, I was
Can
like,
you say what it is, or you can't?
I can't because
still running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because, I'm still running it. But the first product I did, I told you before the podcast started, but I had issues with payment holds and everything. But that was because I just didn't fulfill the orders. And there's a reason why I didn't fulfill the orders. I reached out to suppliers in China, and I was like, I wanted to hit the ground running. So I was like, all right, let me brand this product just because I know it's working. So I actually did the product as a pre-order, I think, something like that. So customers would have to wait a month, and that's how long it took the supplier to brand my products. So they had the logo on the product, they had packaging, everything. Like, it's like a nice experience. And it just didn't make sense. So when it came to the US, I used ShipBob.
ShipBob.
Yeah.
When it came to the ship dudes over here.
I didn't know about you guys.
Yeah.
But I used ShipBob, and then at the end of the day, I ended up losing money. When if I just drop shipped it and did no branding on it, I would have at least made 20% margins. Yeah. But instead of making 20% margins, I wasn't even making 10%. I actually lost or even broke even that product. Just because I also ordered additional inventory that sat for a while, and like they charge you storage and everything, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after that, I've not touched branding route at all. And for my Facebook pages, you know about the feedback scores, right?
Oh yeah,
bro, it's like a 4.7 right now, and I have no packaging, nothing. I barely have customer support.
Really?
Wow.
I don't know how I cracked the code, but yeah.
Did you do anything or like?
No, I think you just got to get your products on time. Like that's like the most thing.
If I could ask, what does your shipping times look like from China to the US?
Well, we use Unexpress, so it's gonna be 7 to 12 days, something like that. Yeah. I have sauce for you guys right here.
Yeah, go. Let's hear it.
So usually people will send in the tracking number the day of. So if someone orders today, they'll get the tracking number tomorrow, like a Unexpress tracking number. We actually wait 3 to 4 days until we get the USPS number. So
so it switches to USPS.
They give you the last mile tracking when I guess it reaches the US, when the product hits the US.
Interesting.
So we would so first, here's how a customer will see from their side. They'll order from our website. It'll be like, here's your order confirmation. And then maybe like 12 hours later, I forget what I have the setting as, but maybe 12 hours to a day later, they get another email saying, hey, we're packing your order now. And
takes
then,
like 3 to 4 days of process.
Yeah. So after like the third or fourth day, then they get the tracking number. Then we're like, hey, we've shipped out your item, and stuff like that.
See.
So
you shipped it out 3 days ago.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have known that.
They have no idea. That's smart.
And now I don't get
converts to USPS tracking numbers, or
the Unexpress that doesn't convert. There is a last mile tracking number that I get from my supplier, and the last mile tracking number, if it's going to the US, is going to be USPS.
Yeah, it has to because they bring it to the door.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. So if it's Canada, it'd be Canadian Post, Australia.
So it takes 3 days to go from China into the US. Or like 4 days.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. But also, if you update on the third day to get the tracking number, consumers are aware that the tracking number doesn't update instantly. So it'll take another 1 to 2 days, and then it'll update. And so that's how you, I guess, get that 4.7 customer feedback.
Does it still say like coming from China though?
No, it actually doesn't. The USPS.
Really?
Because I use the USPS link.
But you give them like the secondary tracking number. Like there's like kind of two. There's the one that gets to the United States, and there's one that gets from the US to the customer. So you give them like the second.
The USPS number doesn't say anything. It just says
literally USPS.
Yeah, it's just like picked up, and then
is the packaging have like Chinese lettering on it or anything? Or
I honestly don't even know. I've never seen it. I hope. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter if 4.7.
Usually it'll be a label, and they'll just slap another label on top of it. Like
probably. Yeah, it actually doesn't even come in a box. It comes in like a gray,
like a bubble mailer
or something.
Not even bubbles in there. It's just regular.
Just a regular envelope.
Not an envelope, but it's like a
almost or
sort of something like that. But there's no, trust me, there's no money wasted on the.
Yeah, crazy. Wow.
I try to save on weight as much as possible. Even if it says like 10 cents per order, it's a lot of money over like 1,000, 10,000 orders.
No, definitely for sure.
I mean, you're talking to the guys that ship tens of thousands of units a month.
Yeah, so like literally, if we could save 5 cents on shipping in a month, it can generate an extra like 50 grand.
Yeah. So like. Yeah, I've thought about it. I think my suppliers asked me like, "Hey, do you want to put your logo on it at least?"
And you're just like, "I'm good, man."
I mean, we do insert cards just because the insert cards provide a little bit of value. It's like, "Hey, shares with a friend, get 20% off."
Have people used it?
Yeah, surprisingly. Well, I can't tell if they're using it or they have like the Honey app, and then like, and then you know what I mean?
Applying it,
Yeah, so I can't tell, but it works. So I've been doing that, but I can't tell if my supplier's lying to me because he's like, hey, I'll do it for free, or he just raised the price by that much and just kept them. I don't know, but it works. So
it's honestly crazy because like you're one of the first guys that I've heard that's had a drop shipping store last for like more than 3 months.
For that long.
Why do you think that is? Like why do you think?
It definitely has to be the product, right?
Really?
I think it comes down to the product. If it's like I would say like I want to say evergreen, just because my product isn't like, it's not something like toilet paper where you have to sell every single time. But it's not seasonal, so it's not something like you can only buy during winter months or summer months. But I mean, it doesn't matter because some people sell products during like winter months at, let me think, summer months. It'll be like the mosquito XPEL, the one that Virum ecom ran.
Keep pumping it through winter.
Sure, yeah, they'll keep doing it, and they could also do it every single year. So every time summer comes around, hey, put the mosquito website up.
Put the mosquito website up.
Yeah, you can still make an extra 10, 20 grand from it.
I know a ton of people that do that. It's crazy.
Yeah, so there's that, but
you haven't had like ad account
bans. I know we talked about those.
Profile problems, all this stuff.
I definitely do. I feel like everyone does. I feel like if you don't, you're definitely not doing anything, or you're just not running.
You're not doing enough.
Yeah. So I actually met a guy that says he's doing like $1 million a year in profit. And then I was talking about like ad account bans and stuff like that. He's like, oh no, I don't have any issues. I was like, all right, this guy's fucking lying. Like I was like, there's no way. I'm like, there has to be lying because I feel like even legit accounts get banned once in a while or something like that, right? I've seen on Twitter real brands have been getting their page shut down.
100%.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, if you're doing $1 million profit a year, how are you not getting account issues? So yeah, I do get those account issues, but I've actually had one account and it's like my friend's profile. So it's my friend's Facebook account and it's a BM that we've made in like 2017 or 18. And good. It's never even gotten banned once.
Really? Same domain to the website.
Everything. Wow. Never changed it one time.
That's a dream, man.
Dude, they must have some VIP like algorithm for that account specifically. Yeah. Never had any issues with that. And that's the one that the feedback score is like 4.7. Yeah. Even though I don't do anything. But yeah. That's about it. And I feel like when I got banned, before I knew all about the multi-login and everything like that, it was definitely a headache. It was like I was trying to buy my friend's mom's Facebook so I could advertise on it.
Yeah. And then that get banned too because you logged in without a proxy.
Yeah. So definitely nowadays there's more resources out. Like if you have multi-login and basically run proxies under it. But even then, that's not like a sure thing. So
still not bulletproof. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I would definitely say is like there's strength in numbers. So if you do like 10 profiles, 5 of them gets banned, then at least you have 5. Yeah, so you definitely can't do 1 or 2 at the same time and then just hope that these 2 just don't get banned.
Yeah. Have you thought about exiting that business?
I just don't know how to. I heard you guys talking about, hey, my friend got a $750K. I'll take that any day. I'll take $500K.
Right, we'll help you after this, but
really?
I mean, hard, like especially
even right now, yeah.
You can literally just go on like what's Shopify's called?
Exchange Marketplace.
Like Exchange Marketplace.
But they're usually not the best.
Or like
I have a question about that. So do you have to like show your website? Like,
well, you can technically have it private, and then
then they sign like an NDA.
How safe are those NDAs?
Well, I mean, so I sold a business back like 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, and I probably only sold it for like 40 grand. But I listed it and I had it private, and so they would have to request to get more information on the business, maybe jump on a call or for me to share the link. And then through that, you can choose to sign an NDA, things like that. And I mean, an NDA is an NDA. So if it's an interested buyer and they're genuinely interested and you jump on a call with them, you could tell. If it's like a 16-year-old kid, then like you just jump off the call. If it's like a 30-year-old who has a conglomerate of multiple other e-commerce businesses they're trying to exit, then
I'd also say it depends on like what you're trying to sell it for. Because like there's different, you go to one called like Quiet Light Brokerage, which is like, it's like an actual like company.
Like a legitimate broker versus like a marketplace, like exchange.
And they sell like brands between like $500,000 to maybe like $10 million, like exits, right? So like those guys are more professional. You have a real broker, like person to talk to. Like they'll vet all the people beforehand. You can even tell them like, hey, look, I don't want people knowing the product. And like they'll kind of like protect you on that end. They do it because like it's like kind of like a real estate agent where like they'll get a commission of the sale, obviously. But like they'll walk you through the process. So like if you have had the brand for 3 years now, right? And say like, does it do 7 figures a year?
Well, say
like
200, say like 150, 200 net a year over 3 years on average, like 600. And then we were just talking about multiples.
It's probably worth like, if it does like 200 net a year, probably worth like 600K.
Really?
Maybe less.
Maybe more.
No, not maybe less though.
It depends on the trajectory. Like if it's
I can tell you how many sales they've done like lifetime. It's probably done like 4 or 5 mil lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, if it's
like what'd you net on it?
This one's like maybe like 15%, maybe like even lower.
No, yeah. So I mean, it averages out like 200.
Because like the normal multiple in ecom was like 3 times EBITDA. So like 3 times profit. EBITDA is like a fancy word for profit.
Annual profit.
But like now, because the economy is a little like fluffy right now, like interest rates are so high and everything, maybe like you can get like 2x EBITDA or something.
But like that's a $400,000, $500,000 check.
Yeah,
like,
it's not bad.
Oh wow! I would exit right now.
I have a broker I can connect you with. He I've connected him with maybe two, three people. And the way that works is you talk to them. They're like, oh yeah, this is something our buyers would be interested in. And they usually don't work, they don't take on businesses that are doing like 10 grand or $20,000 a month. It's usually ones that are doing that in like profit. Some people will go there making, they're like, oh yeah, I have $50,000 store over the last 5 months. And it's like 10% margins. They're like, oh, piss off. But if it's actually like doing well, what they'll do is they'll list it on the database and then they take like maybe a 15% commission off the exit value. So that's where they make their money.
So how about like the inventory and everything like that?
Well,
so
you don't have inventory, right?
So do they not care about? I'm guessing the buyer is like.
I mean, that's just extra value. So if you did have like, let's say in the next month you wanted to transition it to have inventory just purely for the valuation, you might be able to get $20,000 worth of inventory and then add $100,000 in valuation. Well,
that's the thing too, because they don't actually know what you bought the inventory for.
Okay.
Right? So like, say you bought 20,000 units, right? And you bought them for like, say $3 a unit. You could tell them you bought them for $5 a unit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you can make a percentage on top of that, right?
Right.
And just by having that, you can say, hey, like this is because you always want to position it to the buyer as, hey, you can take this and you can run with it. And there's more opportunity with you now than when I was running it. So you could say, oh, I haven't branded this yet. Maybe if you brand it, you could double the revenue.
Yeah, I haven't gone on Amazon with it.
And that's the thing. Like the more upside potential that it has, the higher of the value that you could probably get for it. But yeah, you could probably get easily $500,000, $600K.
I think I'm gonna change my whole business model. Just run up stores and sell them.
But that's the thing. Like, I mean, the thing is, you probably have to keep them for at least 6 months to a year before you'll be able to list them. But if you can make 3 more stores like that, build them out, then within a year, that $1 million plus check for 3 brands.
I just don't understand the value to it for the buyer. So if I'm a buyer, right, I'm just like, since our products are not just they don't have patents or anything like that, why can't they just steal it? Or like, why?
Well, they don't have the systems.
Pretty much any product that we fulfill for, you can just copy. You know what I mean?
If you gave me your product right now with all the skill sets that I have foundationally, you
probably couldn't get to where you are.
I don't have your data. I don't have your website. I don't have your customer base.
List,
I don't have the timing in which you went into the marketplace to sell the product. So I probably couldn't compete with you. You know what I mean?
All right.
Even if I did everything like 5 times better. So they're all they're buying is the systems. And then if you can position in a way that says, I have 2 VAs, I have 1 in-house team member, I have a media buyer, I work with an agency, and all you have to do is buy the business and it's going to make $100K plus a year. And there's all these additions that you can make to it. Then like that's the value, is like the upside potential. Or you sell it to the guy who just wants to flip it. He just wants to buy it, keep it for 6 months, get inventory for it, and then sell for $1 million. Like, so who cares why they want it? As long as they want it and you sell it, then like
makes sense.
Sell it, position it, like just position it in the most attractive way possible.
All right. Yeah. So if anyone's listening, you want to buy my website, just know.
Hit them up.
600K, highest bidder.
You better have the money ready.
We need the tax returns.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna look into that after the podcast. You guys can talk me through it. I've seen people like sell brands, and I've known like, I don't know who it was, but they sold it for like $250K. And I know they only did like $500K in revenue. I was like, wait, what? I would take that check anytime.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see.
Tell me about some products that you've ran up that haven't been successful. That like are actually famous products.
Show mosquito trap. That's number 1. Verum ecom.
I tested that.
Yeah. Dude, he released a video on it. He said he made like $200K in net. I was looking at him. I'm like, this guy's Asian, I'm Asian. We'll figure something out, So I ran it. I guess everyone else had the same ideas. And that one I was actually like negative ROAS. Not negative ROAS. I was under 1 ROAS. It's probably like 0.8 ROAS or something like that. Couldn't get it to work. Let me think of another one that I tried running up but didn't work.
It's funny because I tested that too, and it was alongside a friend of mine who also tested it. And I definitely had I knew a lot more about e-commerce and I had built more brands and I had like, you know, I knew more, quote unquote, but whether it was timing or whether it was like just he had a video that hit, whatever it might have been, he had it and it just hit. And I think he ripped like $250,000 a month for a few months and it actually did hit for him. So it's super interesting. Like e-commerce is a lot about like just timing, right place at the right time, right product, right landing page. And like, even if you think you have things that look way better than your competition, they might just hit that one video, have that one creative, that one piece of copy that changes the trajectory of how the brand grows.
Did you ever run the sunset lamp?
Dude, I think I missed a bag on that one. I think I missed a bag on that one. I didn't run it. My girlfriend, I remember at the time, was like, hey, babe, look at this product. I was like, this is so stupid. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I don't care about it. And then out of nowhere, you know, I just see the ads running. I think Young Goop was like, he said he ran that one. There's some people that said he didn't actually run it, but whatever. That's another topic. But yeah, he said he ran that one. I think he's using that for his course right now. It's like a $10 million store. But yeah, I missed the bag on that one. Did you guys try running it?
I did. I went to Tampa with Joe. Didn't work.
Really?
It wasn't working.
Yeah, it didn't work for me either. I
probably spent like a $2-3 grand on it, and it didn't work. So we're just like, we scrapped that one quick.
I see. Yeah. I always did the dog water bottle too. That was the famous one.
Which one is that? Is the one you flip upside down and like you like feed your dog type of thing with the water, or no?
I don't know if you're upside down, but you just kind of like go like this. You press the button and the water.
But there's like a ball on top of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
scooper.
Yeah, there's like a scooper almost, and then you press a button and it fills up kind of that scooper.
That worked for you
with water?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I think we were on the topic of products that didn't work.
That don't work. Yeah. I mean, there's a long list for me, but shit, sometimes it's the ones that you think are going to do the best, and it's the ones that you don't think are going to do well, and you're just like, yeah, let me test it, and then all of a sudden they just fucking pop off. Like, you never know. That's why like the game in the beginning is all about testing like quantity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so a lot of people that whether you say they're under my wing or I've helped them, whatever, like a lot of times I say you have to go through that kind of spam testing, that mass testing product like phase, not necessarily because it's going to get you like the winning product immediately, but it's going to show you like what not to do, and it's going to accelerate the process of knowing what a good product actually is. Because your first round, we brought on Yash. And our friend Yash, it took him like...
No, I don't.
It took him...
From Jersey City you lived in?
Yeah.
It's in the area.
It took him about like 60 or 65 product tests to find the winner.
Ran through 20 grand before we found a
like
product
20, 30 grand. But it took him 65 product tests to find a winner. And then after that, it probably only took him 5 or 10 before he popped another. And it was kind of the same thing for me. It probably took me, it didn't take me 60, probably 20 or 30. But then after that, I had, maybe like a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 15 success rate.
Okay.
And so in the beginning, you kind of have to push the quantity to figure out what's working and what doesn't. And once you get through that stage and you find 1 or 2 products that are good, then you can kind of take a step back, I think, and focus more on quality and product validation and all that stuff.
Yeah, screw that. But I'm kidding. Anyways, I feel like you've been talking about testing products, and I can probably say I've never tested more than 10 products in my life.
Really?
I do this thing.
You pursue them.
Dude, I do this thing where it might be a bad habit as well, but I just like force it to work. Like it's almost as if like I test every single interest. I test every single marketing angle I can.
Creatives.
Everything.
How much are you spending to test something? You just spending until it works.
Dude, I mean, I think I'll lose up to like $2,000 before I give up, but usually I go like I try testing everything, especially if I see someone else running it for like a long time. I'm like, I need to find something. It's usually just the interest. So from what I've seen, when I ran this product up, I had one interest that was working, and so this is a niche product, by the way. So there's a lot of different interests in that niche, but out of like 100 interests that the product had, only 1 worked, and I just so happened to test that one towards like the end of the testing phase where I was like, I'm done with this product. So I tested that one last interest, and it was an interest that didn't even really have that many people in it. It's like maybe like 24 million. Some people always choose interests that are like 80 million people plus or whatever, but I chose that one. I was like, let me test it out. And I remember I just ran through that interest. I remember I had 2 CBOs running at $10,000 a day. So it was $20,000, and it was just that one interest.
Jeez.
Yeah. So if it wasn't that interest, and alongside that, I had another CBO running with different interests in that niche. None of them worked. There was only that one interest.
Yeah.
Which is
shit.
Yeah. So that's why I try to like test every single interest that I can. for a product. I mean, it's probably bad advice for beginners because they're gonna burn through their money.
Yeah.
But that's how I've done it so far. Maybe I've gotten lucky.
I have a question for you because I haven't dropshipped in a while. Last time I dropshipped was like 3 years ago.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say 3 years old. I was like, damn.
No. How does fulfillment work right now? Like, I'm curious to that. Like how orders come in through every single day? Like, do you like send CSVs to your people in China?
No,
like,
they use the app like Dian Xiaomi or something like that. Do you guys are familiar?
Yeah, there's like a lot of ERP apps that you just plug into Shopify and it'll automatically plug into their like fulfillment system.
Yeah. So they made me download this weird Chinese app. I don't know what it does. I just know that they grab information from it every single day. And yeah, that's it. It's autopilot. As soon as the order comes in, it usually gets fulfilled by like 9. I would say like 6 p.m. their time, so 7, so like 10 a.m. No, sorry, so 6 a.m. our time. And then yeah, it's been automatic. I haven't had any issues with my supplier. Everything's been great. It's just
have you worked with one the whole time?
I've worked with 2, so this is my second one. My first one, well, besides AliExpress, let's forget about that. My first legit supplier I worked with, they couldn't handle my volume and they didn't let me know. I feel like it's like a common story with a lot of people. But they didn't let me know, and I remember it was January and November and December were my biggest months that year, and they were still fulfilling orders from like November 29 or something like that. And that's when the chargebacks started coming in. And funny enough, I actually didn't even get banned or restricted or anything with Shopify.
So you're running Shopify payments right now.
Still.
Dude, this is like the holiest I've ever seen in my life.
They hit me with the email saying, hey, you're getting close to that mark, but don't worry about it. Like, just get it under control. They were like, hey, could you add a COVID page to your website? Yeah, and I was like, sure. And I did it. And so they did hold the payouts, just the payouts, not the money that were going to be released. So we're pausing your payouts. And yeah, just please add a COVID disclaimer on your website. I was like, sure. I did it. An hour, 24 hours later, the payments were
That's crazy.
I was just like, all right, cool.
Consider yourself the lucky few.
Dude, yeah, I don't even know what to do right now. I get an email going like, hey, Shopify payments is disabled.
Yeah.
But
you don't even know what to do.
What can I do? I don't know. Do you have
different payment processors?
You just gotta get back to the processors. Yep.
Okay, well, yeah. So after that instance with that first supplier, that's when I went out to look for more suppliers, and I found my second one right now. And yeah, he's been great, so I have no issues with him.
Where'd you find them? Like Alibaba or something?
No, my friend Kevin. Shout out Kevin, by the way.
Shout out Kevin.
Yeah, he found him and then he let me know. And I still think he's taking a cut of my because you know how you refer somebody, you get like a percentage. Yeah, I still feel like
you get like a little kickback, a little commission.
Kevin. Yeah. He's probably getting in the beginning. He's probably making like $500 to $1,000 a month just from referring me. I'm not sure if he's still collecting checks now. But, you know, I've done this thing, too, where I found out that he's doing that. Well, he told me, obviously, before he gave it to me. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get a kickback, by the way. I'm like, cool. And then before my other winner, I referred myself, but I just referred my girlfriend. So my girlfriend right now is just, and I'm getting kickback. Yeah,
that's some sauce right there.
That's smart. I've never thought that's smart.
And I've thought about referring myself again and then just completely disappearing on this account. Because it's we talk on WeChat. So it's like I guess it's like WhatsApp for China. So yeah, I thought about just disappearing this account.
Yeah. And do you just wire these guys money every month or something?
No, they used to be good at it, as in they used to collect every single day. There was one time he forgot for 6 months and he gave me like a huge bill and I thought I had the money and I was like, wait, you sure you didn't bill me for this already? And he actually didn't. So I was like, all right, so let me actually like download the CSV and everything to make sure I'm not getting scammed over here.
Crazy.
Yeah, he didn't bill me for 6 months for one of the stores that was just running Google ads, not
volume.
Yeah, no volume, but it was still making at least $1,000 profit a month.
Yeah,
free money. So I was like, all right, let's keep it on. And he didn't bill me for 6 months, and so after that, he sent me a huge bill. It wasn't that big, but it was like at least a few thousand. I was like, are you sure, bro? Like, I'm pretty sure I paid you. He's like, no, I haven't collected from the store at all. And he's been fulfilling it. So yeah, but he collects through PayPal. He gives you a percentage discount for a wire. I think like 5% off. I should take advantage of it.
High fees, yeah.
Yeah, I should take advantage of that, but I just haven't.
Yeah, I've only done PayPal just because you can pay with credit cards. So like,
I get the points back.
Fees with it. But it's like it's stupid because it nets out. Like it's like a 3% fee, but you get 3% cash back. So it's like it really nets out at the end of the day. Like a wire is more efficient in that sense, but it evens out. So do you think? I guess your ability to find a supplier and to engage in a really good relationship with them improved because of your ability to speak the same language?
I can't speak the Chinese language.
Yeah.
My girlfriend can though.
I was testing before. You knew some stuff.
No, I can't type it though.
I took Mandarin in senior year of high school. So
Okay.
a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend knows
communicate?
Mandarin.
Yeah, she can type it. She can talk it. She can do whatever.
Oh, so that helps. That for sure helps.
Yeah. So when I can't explain something and like I don't know if you guys do this, but I try to type in broken English because sometimes it makes more sense for them.
To like match their end.
Yeah, I can't. If I write incorrect grammar, all right, I have a really funny story. So I remember my first supplier, the one that messed up, she said something like, "Hey, by the way, we can't wait, sorry. I think I gave her a problem, like, "Hey, these orders haven't been shipped out yet." And then she gave me like an excuse, and then I write no problem, right? So it's for us, it's like, all right, don't worry about it, like just get it done.
Oh,
she literally thought it was no, she thought it was no problem, so she didn't ship that out. Like it was something related to that, right?
That's
so
tough.
Yeah, so it's like, so she thought that, and man, I wrote there is no issue when there was an issue. I'm just saying, hey, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Just figure it out.
Just figure it out. So for us, it's like, hey, like I can't make it to dinner. Oh, don't worry, like no problem. But then for them, they're like, yeah, so that's not an issue. I'm just like, all right, I need to start typing in like broken English.
Yeah. That's funny because like unintentionally, I've actually done that, and like unconsciously, it's just literally just match the energy that they're giving me because they understand it better, and like
they
kind
do.
of like it's almost like you stoop down to their level of English, and it's a more fluid conversation.
Yeah.
Understand you better.
I need cheaper price.
Yeah,
That's it.
You know what I always say?
Just do cheap price,
time.
please.
Cheap price, please.
I'm like, I always start off my message, "Hi, dear."
Yeah, you know you have a good supplier when they message you dear, like or like sir or something.
Has your supplier ever sent you gifts around the holidays?
No, I think you told me that they sent you like COVID masks and stuff like that.
I've gotten gifts like
wow.
on like a quarterly basis, like especially Christmas. They always send me a gift because I mean I've ran up like millions of dollars with them, so you figure they've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit off me. So they're just like, yeah, we'll send this like little $10 fun cat looking thing, like something
cute.
like that. But yeah, no, it's cool. Like when you build good relationships like that, you don't need to hunt for like 20 different agents. Like you stick to one, they won't bill you for 6 months because you build that trust.
Yeah.
Like there was a point where there wasn't even product quality issues, but there was an issue where there was like a delayed shipment, and on a store that we did like 2 to 4 million on within like 2-3 months, and they sent us $20,000-$30,000 worth of inventory, like no questions asked. We were like, hey, like these shipments have been delayed. Like this is like there's no excuse for this. It's really put our business behind. So can we meet in the middle and find some way to like recuperate some of the losses that we got on refunds, chargebacks, all these things? They just sent like $30,000 worth of inventory. They're like, we made more than enough from you, so they sent it, and then we never ended up selling that out. So that was a pain in the ass in itself.
Wow.
But still, like imagine that we were able to go and sell that out. That's like $100,000 in revenue value worth of inventory, and if we spent 50 to make 100, that's 50 grand net.
Yeah,
we would have gotten from that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good part of building like a relationship with your supplier, because my supplier knows around this season, he's like, oh, by the way, I already bought inventory for you. Like,
damn.
Because he knows he number one, he can't catch up with it if it's gonna be me competing with other people buying the product from factories. So he already prepays everything. I don't have to pay him for it. But yeah, that's like one of the perks of having a good relationship with your supplier, because they just at that point, it's even dropshipping anymore because they have inventory, you know.
No, literally, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I say. It's like a lot of people knock dropshipping, but eventually you get to the point.
To this point where you're at, I've never heard this before.
You have inventory, it's just overseas.
No, where it's like no crazy Facebook problems, no Shopify problems, like
that's pretty. You're a unicorn.
Yeah, you're a unicorn. Yeah. I would hold on to the store. Don't even try to sell it. Honestly.
Really,
dude? Yeah, are you kidding?
I mean, list it, like keep it. Try to grow it aggressively as you're listing it and selling it. But if it doesn't sell, I mean, you're still sitting on something good. Sure, but you never know when, like, you know, if that hasn't happened in three years, the likelihood of it happening in the next 6 months is probably high. So not a bad time to to at least list it.
I think this is the first pod that we haven't asked a single one of these questions.
Yeah, for real. The conversation's just flowing. But you know, but yeah, I guess speaking of that, we'll kind of pivot because we've been talking a lot of ecom stuff. But I think we're gonna amass a broader audience of non-ecom people. So I think just in general, this is a question I think we asked in another episode, and I think it also influenced us a little bit when we reflect on this question. But what, I guess, a little bit involving your upbringing, but what do you think how do you think your parents might have had an influence on what it is that you did or your career path? Whether it was like supportive, non-supportive,
And what do they think about all
or what careers that like they were in, like what fields of industries that they worked in, and this whole like maybe probably new world to them. Like how did that influence maybe your decision to get into business, or your resiliency to succeed in it, or your hesitancy to commit to it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I get you. But how do I start this off? So most people be like, oh, like my mom, my dad, they supported me the whole way. Like that's why I got into dropshipping. No, I actually got into dropshipping because I literally hated living in my parents' house. It's like, they just, I don't know. Now that I think back on it, it wasn't like really too crazy, but it's like I'll be in my room and they'll just open the door and just like sit behind me. Yeah. If I say in the podcast now, everyone's just like, who cares? Yeah. But to me, I'm just like, hey, I could be like watching something that isn't like, appropriate. Like, dude, they removed the locks on my door one time.
You hear? They removed the locks on the door.
Yeah, really? Because they're like, what are you doing in there?
Did they immigrate to America?
Yeah, they're immigrants, and they definitely expected a lot, like, of more like educational for my career to like definitely do something like computer engineer. Like that'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be like a coder.
Yeah, exactly. So so I thank a lot of my success to my mom because I hated her that much. Like I don't hate her as in like she's my mom, obviously, but I didn't really like her looming presence, I would say. So that's like a really motivational thing where I was like, all right, I need to get out of this house. I remember my mom was also super condescending because I don't know if she experienced a lot of trauma in her life or not, but she's super condescending when she comes to like, she's not really a positive person. So you're like, hey, I'm starting a business. She's like, it's definitely going to crash and burn. So the only thing she knows, and a lot of immigrant parents know, the safest thing is to get a job, which is, I would say, it makes a lot of sense. I get what she means now, but when I first began, I was starting a business. I was telling her all about it. And even the Minecraft thing, she thought I was just playing games because in order to manage the Minecraft server, I had to be, I had to be in the game. So she always thought I was lying and stuff. And I guess just like something inside of me was like, all right, I need to prove her wrong. And when I did, it didn't really feel too good anyways because she's my mom. Like, it's not like she's like my enemy or anybody like that. But yeah, after a while, she kind of gave me a little more trust. I remember one time, I showed her my bank account and it was like over 200 grand in there one time. And she was just like, nah, that's fake. She didn't even believe me.
She's like, where are the drugs?
Yeah. She's like, nah, I can't. She's like, I don't believe until I see it in real life. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like, pull it all out. And then she was like making sure it's not a screenshot and everything. She was like moving around the app and stuff. Damn. And then I was just like, all right, well, this felt all right, but it didn't feel too good just because she's still my mom. Like, she's not like my enemy, like I said before. But yeah, she came over to my apartment and then she's even like, hey, are you sure you're not doing anything illegal? And I'm like, yes, I'm 100% sure. She's like, dude, only criminals live like this. Because in her world, like,
it's new to her.
Yeah, it's very new to her. And she's still like, a frugal Asian mom. So she's like, why did you choose one of the taller apartments? You could have chose like the second floor.
What floor are you on?
I think I'm on like 42nd.
Are you on the PH floors?
Yeah, it's called the PH floors.
Oh, same floor as you or no?
Yeah. Not same exact floor, but
something along the lines.
Give or take a couple
up there.
Yeah. She's
clouds, literally. Like I'm looking at this man's story. I mean, I experienced it myself for a couple of months. I was only there for 4 months, but like every 3-4 days, you're literally in a cloud.
Yeah.
High up. You're 50 floors up. So.
I posted my story the other day. I woke up. I'm like, where the hell am I? Like, it was just white, like complete white.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of annoying because you pay for this beautiful city view, and 1 out of 3 days you don't have it.
Yeah. So
you brought her. She's like, you're a drug dealer.
Dude,
you're like, what are you doing?
I didn't just bring her. I brought my grandma. I got my grandpa. I brought everybody.
Well, they had never been up there.
No, they never even experienced this life before, and it's like, well, to me, it's kind of normal just because the people you surround yourself with, everyone has a nice apartment, everyone drives nice cars, but to them it's like a complete game changer. And like I guess when I brought them over, I was like, all right, so this is what I need to do, keep going on this path because I want to provide like the same experience for them. Yeah, so I had like one funny thing I was gonna talk about for my mom, but I don't remember, so let's just go.
I mean, that's good though, because it's like that. No, that's good though, because I think most people, they say usually one of two things if they're in a position of relative success, compared to everyone who's listening and the average Joe. And it's like you either come from a period of like resilience in terms of maybe contradicting beliefs on what a good route is to make money or to build a career, or you come from support. And it's, I guess, tough to find the middle ground, but it's usually like, no, you shouldn't do that. And now you have a fire lit under your ass where you're like, I'm going to fucking do this now because people are telling me that I can't, or that I shouldn't, or that it's not, the smart route to take. Or you just have that support. And I think more people come from a period of hesitancy from family, friends, things like that, than support. Because most of the people that are supportive, they have that crutch or that thing, that safety net to fall back on. Whereas if people are kind of against you, you're working that much harder to, I guess, prove them wrong in a sense. So you probably felt that a little bit where it's like, fuck, if I fail, like my parents are gonna give me shit for it. So like I better make this shit work.
You can't even lock it. There's no lock on the door. Yeah, I'm definitely the second person. I feel like if I had that support, I'll probably just still be at my mom's house just because I don't know. I don't like to say I like to get buttered up, but like if I do, I kind of just feel like
take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, cool. Like if you're gonna support me, I'm just gonna try on this little thing. Doesn't work. Oh, it's okay, baby. Yeah. You tried your best. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, cool. But like if I feel like it's a different, it depends like who you are. I guess some people are better off like having more support for like mental health and stuff like that. Yeah. But also some people are better like me where they need that fire under their ass and like. Yeah. Hey, get working and stuff like that. So
how'd you end up from Brooklyn to like Fort Lee, New Jersey?
This is a funny story. So I was living in Brooklyn. I was already in like a luxury apartment. I was paying like $2.5K a month. And it was I say I moved out of my mom's house, but I was 2 streets away from her. Yeah. And that's like my way of showing her that was the nicest apartment in our neighborhood. And like I would say like a grew up with knows that that's the apartment. So I rented an apartment there. It was $2.5 a month. It was during COVID, and me and my friends were like, "Hey, let's go somewhere." But it was during COVID, so we couldn't go anywhere. So we're like, let's hop over to Jersey. We've never been to Jersey before.
Oh, you've never been to Jersey?
Never. I haven't even went on a plane until like a year ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I went to Jersey. We stayed at Jersey City, and I was like, "Wow, this place is nice. It's kind of cool. Like I like the view of the city." So I was like, "Let me see what the rents are like here." And then I'm sitting on like maybe like the 22nd floor of this building. And the rent was like $2,500. So I was like, wait a second. By the way, I'm living on the second floor of my building. So my view was a trash can. I'm not even shitting. It was literally a trash can. So I was like, all right, why don't I just move over to Jersey? Because it makes a lot more sense right now. And then I remember we went hiking up in the Palisades in Fort Lee, and we were thirsty. And since I'm Asian, I went to get bubble tea. You guys like bubble tea?
Good bubble tea.
Really? Okay.
Kung Fu tea all day long.
Oh yeah, dude, we went to Kung Fu tea. Yeah, so I went to Kung Fu tea, and dude, there were just these 2 huge skyscrapers there. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to dox myself, but like, you know what I'm talking about. There's these 2 huge skyscrapers.
Like the Twin Towers.
Yeah, literally. And since there's like no other really tall buildings around it, they really stand out. And they have this huge banner. It was something along the lines of like, welcome to your new home or something like that, right? Big one, yeah, I'm like, whoa, that one looks crazy. Yeah. So I went on my phone, and while we're leaving Jersey, I'm like typing it up, like almost doxed myself, but I wrote the URL in, and I was like, wait. So I remember, I think the 27th floor was like 2.7, and then the floor that I'm on now was like the penthouse floor was like 3.2. And I was like, all right, $600 a month, like $5,000 a year. Is it worth the extra leg room? And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna treat myself. It's all right. So that's why I moved over to Jersey, just because the difference wasn't that bad. And now I'm like 40 floors up versus 2 floors. And the building is way nicer. The community is way nicer.
Building's fucking nice.
I just love Jersey. It's great.
You like Jersey? There you go. Yeah, shout out Jersey.
Yeah. I mean,
shout out Jersey.
It's relative to New York City. Jersey's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. And
especially this time of year.
At that time, I also bought my Tesla. And in New Jersey, you have no sales tax on electric vehicles, and they give you a $5,000 check.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I bought my car for $37K and like some change, no sales tax. Just that was it. And then they also wired me $5,000.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is awesome, because if I bought in New York, not only would I have to pay sales tax on like 8% sales tax,
higher value too.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have also gotten that $5,000 check.
check.
Yeah, and there's no charging in New York. Where in the building we're living now, there's charging.
In the parking lot.
Yeah, so I saved $300. I don't know how much it is now for gas, but I would guess around $300 a month in gas.
Probably.
which is another car payment for some people.
Damn. That's
so it just made a lot of financial sense just moving here.
Yeah.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, not a lot of buildings in Jersey that are 50 floors, but we won't talk too much. Yeah, I was in that building too for a little bit. I actually took over a friend's lease who wanted to move to Florida, and I was like, dude, like I'll just take over your lease. I'll just pay the rent payments. Like it's a beautiful ass building. I'll get a taste of the penthouse life, because I was in 2 other apartments before that were also very nice and they were very close by. And I was about to say the building, but I mean, people listening probably know, but it was just towering over, especially my second apartment. It just towers over everything that stands out. And you get in there for like the apartment tour. I probably took 3 apartment tours and before I moved in, and I didn't actually move in because I went through the official like leasing process. I just took over a friend's lease. So it was like, I never actually pulled the trigger on it. I was just like, definitely overthinking it. But when you're up on the 30, 40, 50th floor and you look out at like the city views, it's like,
I love it.
It's unreal.
I also got a really good deal on my unit because I think
pre-COVID prices.
Yeah, so Dan De Silva, he recently moved out of the building, and shout out Dan, but I think my apartment is nicer than yours.
Definitely, my apartment was nicer. I'll pay way less.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have the corner unit, and I'm paying 3.3 grand right now. And dude, on the website right now it's $5,000. So I'm like getting a
I looked at mine.
Deep discount.
Like, so
do you have windows like this?
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing.
We gotta go check that out.
Yeah, definitely come through. I have like I think almost 1,000 square feet, but let's just say 1,000 square feet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I think usually the apartments there have like 600, 700. It's a big difference when you like actually like walk in. 200 square feet doesn't really sound like a lot, but when you actually experience
an apartment,
especially the corner, you get double views.
Dude, the corner's unreal. Like when I would always tour there, I would always look at a corner for like shits and giggles, knowing that I would always apply to the 1 bedroom if that's what I would go for. But yeah, I mean, like even the unit that I was in, which was like pre-COVID pricing, was like 3,400, is now like 4,400.
Yeah, they've raised it a lot.
1 bathroom, and it's
like, you know why?
Nuts.
I think we're under either new management or somebody kicked the bucket, and now this guy's taking over. And I think for his for him to like also get kicked the bucket, I think he has to like make something happen. So he's like raising rents on everything.
And no one's gonna move out because everyone in there is so rich.
Dude. No, that's actually false. Like, so I think when I moved in, they required like documents, like regular documentation, right? But apparently before I moved in, there was no documents needed. Like they were like, hey, do you make over whatever 100K? Like, yeah. Okay, cool. Here's the keys.
Really?
Oh, but now they're like,
now they're super strict on it.
Yeah, now they're super strict because I think when they raised rents, the concierge told me that at least 30 people have moved out. That's a lot of people.
Shit.
That means 30 vacant apartments right now.
Yeah, and that's not even worth it for the price increase. So.
Yeah, but apparently the turnover rate is crazy because I think 30 people left, but then now there's 20 new residents.
Oh, really?
So it actually might be worth it for the building financially to raise the rents. And I hope you don't watch this podcast, but like I would pay $5,000 for my apartment just because if they wanted to raise it to that much, dude, like I don't know what I'd do, but I still have to pay that much because I just love it that much. And the people that like live there, I just love like the entire community right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's more than just an apartment. You know, it's your office, it's your apartment, it's where you meet with friends, it's where you do networking.
Mm-hmm.
You got the nice amenities, you got the location. Like you're paying for a lot more than just a unit, but at the end of the day, like it is a unit. So sometimes you got to think about that. You know, it's a 800, 900 square foot unit that a couple blocks over, a few dozen floors lower.
I've told Kyle for years though, I was like, all the money you spent on rent, you could have bought a house in New Jersey by now.
Easily.
Yeah, dude. But every time I look at a house, I just feel like I don't know. I don't like houses for now. Even if I see like a $4 million house, it's a nice house, right? But I don't know. It doesn't do anything for me for now. Maybe when I'm older.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked Kyle's view. When shout out Kevin Sauceville.
Yep.
But yeah, that view was insane. That was a view of like the city and everything.
Yeah.
All I see are trees, but it's still a nice view. But I like the view of the city as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're up there and you're not staring at a brick wall, you got it better than 99.9% of people in the world. Like,
yeah. I'm definitely grateful for the view that I wake up every morning. If I can show you my security camera footage in my apartment, it's me butt naked, brushing my teeth in the morning. Like, actually, I don't wake up in the morning. I wake up at like 1 a.m. I mean, 1 p.m. But it'll be me at like 1 p.m., 2 p.m. just staring out and just brushing my teeth. I'm butt naked.
For the whole
every morning. Literally every morning.
But no one can see because you're so high up. No, I would do it, bro. Like I won't go into too many details, but you're always kind of looking out the window,
Well,
like
let's switch the top.
you're always looking out the window, like,
How
oh,
long have we been going?
can I bring my girl over
for a while, right?
Almost now.
Yeah.
Let's
This is
pivot.
fire,
Let's see.
though.
We got
Sure.
we got a couple of good questions here, some curveballs, but let's see. I like this question a lot. It's a little bit of a deeper, more thought-provoking question. So if you need a few seconds to think about it, feel free. But if you were given, going to be written a check for $50-100 million a year, guaranteed to work a specific 9 to 5. You had to work a specific 9 to 5. So take
up at 1 p.m.
Take money out of the equation. You have to work a 9 to 5. What would you be doing if like money was out of the picture and like you wanted to do something that you genuinely enjoy, you're passionate about?
It has to be a job.
Has to be a job. Else. Yeah, you got to work under a company.
So I can't be a YouTuber?
No.
Because I was thinking about being a YouTuber.
No.
Technically, that's not a job. Because you want that creative passion. I think we all want to do that as entrepreneurs, but you gotta see yourself in the position of maybe some of your employees or team members or whatever it would be. What do you think that would be?
And it can't be like business related, right?
I mean, it can, but you'd have to work for a business. So you might be collaborating. Maybe you're in like a managerial role, but it's something you got to show up to do
you
9 to 5.
If you want.
And after 5, you can clock out. And before 9, you don't have
How
to
much
worry
am I
about
getting
anything.
paid?
A lot.
50 to 100 mil a year.
50 to 100 mil? I'll do anything, bro. I don't care. What the heck?
OnlyFans.
Actually, I don't know. If I was guaranteed 50 to 100 mil, I'll do OnlyFans. I'll spread my butt cheeks. But like, the reason is it's not guaranteed. I might spread my butt cheeks for like $10 a month. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but I mean, thing is, again, money aside, it's like, I guess, forget the job question. What would you be doing if it wasn't like e-commerce?
Okay.
And like money wasn't the issue. Like, what's the ultimate goal out of like what e-commerce is giving you at like maybe the time or the freedom to be able to do?
I think you just said it, just freedom. So I would be doing nothing. Dude, I meant on all seriousness, I don't even like working. So the reason why I love e-commerce so much is like you
don't have to work.
You don't have to work. Like you have a store, you have these ads.
At a certain point.
Sure,
after a couple of months of, going through the trenches.
Yeah. So like, that's like, I love the freedom because like I'm never on a time schedule and everything. But if I had to pick a job, probably go back to my roots, be like a software engineer. It's probably, I don't know, I think it's cool. Like go to the office, meet like CEOs or whatever. Probably not, but like you probably meet other intelligent people that are in the field. And I think software engineer usually is like remote too. So yeah, and they definitely get paid a lot. So maybe like $300K if you're like a really good one. Even if you aren't, you're making $100K. That's still better than, I guess, 99% people out there. And the benefits you get, I don't think it's cool. I think software engineer. Shout out my mom for telling me that. But
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, because
what would you do?
Man, no fucking idea. I mean, I think we think about it all the time. It's like, what would we be doing if we weren't doing what it is we're doing now? But it's like, I don't know. I couldn't see myself only working an hour or 2 hours a day because number one, I kind of enjoy what I do, and it's everything that you do in entrepreneurship can be gamified. So it can be, what do we need to do to get to that next level? And if there is no next level, if you're kind of complacent with where you're at, it's like, what's next? Like, what is there more to do?
Yeah, what is there more? I don't know. That's the $10 million question.
Yeah.
What is there more to do?
It's like in a game, you get your favorite game and you beat fucking Bowser in his castle at the end of it, and you're like, shit, what's next? I gotta wait for the next next thing. Well, what if the next one isn't coming out? It's like, what do I do? Do I pivot to a different game? Do we pivot to a different vertical? Is like,
do you guys play games at all?
Nah.
Dude, I sent emails all day.
Really? You guys don't play games, dude?
What do you play?
I started out as a gamer because Minecraft, and I just told you MapleStory. But I remember I was playing GTA maybe like a few months, maybe even a month back. I don't remember. But I got really hooked onto it because there's like an aspect of GTA 5 online where you get to like buy businesses. So I was buying like cocaine businesses, weed business. This is like, by the way, this is GTA, not real life. So like I'll buy all these businesses and like you have to upgrade them and like do all this stuff. And I remember I was playing the game for like until like 7 a.m. and I'll be like fulfilled with myself because I have these businesses running. And I'm like, but in real life I don't have these businesses in real life. So I'm like, does it really matter at the end of the day? And I feel like if you gamify yourself like GTA, but in real life, it probably gives you, especially if you're a gamer, it gives you more of a, definitely. Yeah.
That's why I think a lot of athletes, a lot of gamers, a lot of people who have done anything competitive in their lives usually excel in business.
Yeah. I think one of the last things I want to ask you too. This is like I want to get into a little detailed nitty gritty stuff, right? A lot of guys on here want to learn. They come on here to learn. They don't want to hear me and Kyle talk, right? They want to hear experts and like smart guys, successful guys like you come on here and like just teach them something, right? Tell us something that you've been doing the last like say 2 to 3 months that's just been working. That's like your special thing right now. Like it can be like in product research and buying ads, building websites, like something, just something that it's like all right.
Like you said you had a couple 10 students or more under your wing, and
like, what are you telling them?
And they get an exceptionally high success rate relative to most coaches, you would say, and most courses and things like that. Why is that? Like, what's a little nugget that you could share?
Because like he'll give you some sauce, and then you can hit him up on Instagram and
let me think about this. I'm trying to like pick something that's like not
generic,
but also not too crazy. Because I do have this thing, but if I say it, I feel like what's the point of paying? What's the point? I feel like it's not fair for my students that are paying for the information.
For sure.
100%. Find the middle ground.
I'm trying to think. What was the previous answers you think of other people on this podcast?
One
do you
guy
have
said
any?
TikTok
like just
organic.
marketing. Yeah, I mean that was a generic one.
I'm trying to get some real sauce.
That's what we're saying. Like, what did Kevin say?
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, analytics.
Oh,
like
KPIs.
Looking deeper in analytics, KPI. Like it doesn't have to be super specific, but just I guess something in regards to the specific way in which you help people build e-commerce brands that might be different.
I keep having this one thing in my mind, but I kind of don't want to say it.
Yeah, that's
cool. Well, I'll ask
what platforms do you usually market on?
Right now it's Facebook. So I did TikTok when the glitch was out, and that was amazing. But after that, I guess the algorithm changed, and nothing I try on TikTok works anymore. That's just me. I think I see other people doing really well on TikTok right now.
It's just tougher, yeah.
Not me. It doesn't work for me right now. Let's see. I'm still trying to answer that question you said before.
Yeah, you do Google too.
Yeah, but the Google thing is just more for retargeting people that
like brand search and shit.
Yeah. That people that just fall off midway or whatever from purchasing.
And you still teach kind of similar style, like simple websites. Creatives?
Actually, no. So in my mentorship, I actually teach you how to make a really nice looking website.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like since they paid, they should at least get some like good knowledge out of it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I tell them it doesn't really matter. So I'll be like, here's how to create a really good website. We go step by step, and it'll look really nice at the end. At the end of the day, it just doesn't matter.
Useless.
It's useless.
It'll take a conversion rate from like 2% to 3%. It's not gonna make or break a product scaling.
Yeah.
But it will add tens of thousands annualized in profit to a business if it's a little bit better.
All right, let me actually get this out of the way because I feel like now I've been saying that websites are useless. Let me rephrase myself. Websites are genuinely not the most looked at thing, or shouldn't be a priority when you're testing your products. So I wouldn't really waste time I wouldn't really waste time building a really nice looking website on one product until I know it's really doing well. I'm not saying that a bad website will not hurt conversions, but it definitely helps if you have a better looking website. So you definitely want to get that product test really good first. Like if a product's scaling to like 2K a day and above, then you should focus a little bit more effort on the website. But do not ever waste a day or two, a whole entire day or 2 entire days working on this website just before you test the product, because that's also related to a lot of burnout, because some people waste 2 days on a website, make it look really nice, get no sales, and like, all right, so what did I do all this work for?
You spend like 2 hours on a website, or even an hour.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I can answer that question that you just said. One thing that's been working really well is just making one niche of a website. So let's just say you're selling like slides, like the slides,
like cloud
just
slides and stuff.
Yeah. So just make one generic name, like I don't know, it's probably taken, but like cloudslides.com, and now you can test everything under that one website. And all you have to do is press add products instead of making a whole entire website and going through everything.
Single product. Right. Different
right. So there's different cloud slides. There's like the shark slides, the regular ones. And there's like
Halloween.
The Halloween one was popping off too. Yeah. So look, if you had the domain cloudslides.com or something similar, instead of just making a new store every single time, you could just click add product and just write a brief description and then sell.
You just hit it with a
Yeah, pet niche, anything, like literally any
even
niche.
like card detailing stuff.
Yeah. So you just said like creating an environment that allows you to be able to like test efficiently without getting like without taking too much time to have to pivot and change the store and change up like all the creatives and do all this.
Dude, that's true. Just click add product.
Yeah, click add product.
A whole new landing page.
Yeah, so that would be the answer. Just test efficiently.
Least resistance.
Yeah, test efficiently. Don't cause burnout, because a lot of people when they first start out, they burn out by testing 2 products, 3 products, but because they spend so much time on the landing page or the product page or whatever, that they get burnt out. But if you spend 30 minutes on a product page, didn't work out, you're not burned out yet. You just do the next one.
You're just getting started.
Yeah, so that's definitely.
How do you pick that niche?
What do you mean?
How do you pick that? How do you go? Maybe with your students or yourself and say, hey, this is because you're committing to something without necessarily having a ton of proof of concept. You might look at competitors and say, hey, like they're crushing it with this, so why can't I? So that might be like one of the outlooks that you look at it from that lens, I guess. But how do you pick that with confidence? Because in a sense, you're kind of confining your ability to be able to test those other products that might do really well. So how do you pick that niche?
Damn. So I actually didn't even think of that. So for me, I have one store in every single niche. It's just so like it's easy to test.
You have a whole bunch of Shopify.
Yeah, I think I have over 20 right now, but it's different niches, like literally different niches. So I guess for a beginner, it's hard to say, right? So I don't know. I guess for a beginner, just keep the same Shopify store, just change the URL. I guess if you don't limit yourself to that niche. So if you're trying to sell cloud slides, it didn't work. I wouldn't go ahead and like make a new Shopify account,
or like try to force other slides.
Or don't try to force the spooky slides or whatever. If you find another product that's not in the slides niche, go ahead and make another website, I guess. Or if not, or just keep the same Shopify account, just change the name, because that's generally also a lot easier than signing up for a new email, signing up for a new Shopify, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you have to find like a middle ground. It's like have that niche and commit maybe 5 or 10 quick product tests, and if 1 out of those 10 or if 2 out of those 10 don't pop off, then you can pivot to a different niche without making a new store for every single product. So like kind of finding that middle ground.
Yeah. I mean, there's some advice for, I guess, like you said, the people that get like 1 or maybe 1 or 2 products and pop off and they're not doing good anymore. I guess the better advice for them would be, like I said, just have a bunch of stores. Like maybe start off with 5 stores, pick 5 really broad niches. And then when you want to test a product, go ahead and just plug the product into the store. Because if you've gotten a product or 2 pop off, you know that it works. So you're not really too, I would say, capital intensive or like cheap when it comes to like investing in your business.
Like $1,000 or 2 to test something, right?
Yeah.
Less sometimes, yeah.
Even less, yeah.
Yeah, and whatever, the Shopify is like $29 a month, or if you use the
trial,
the free trial, the Black community trial.
Yeah. The what?
There was like a.
There still is.
I gotta be careful with what I say right now, but
no. It's a Shopify link,
it was
and
specifically
basically
for Black business owners, but like everyone ended up using it. It was like an extended trial.
Got you.
Yeah, it's a 4-month trial, and it basically just asks you one question. It's up to you now if you want to choose yes or no. It just asks you, you're a member of the Black community, and I'm not, but sometimes I choose it, and I get a free 4-month trial.
There's some sauce right there.
Is that still working now?
Yeah, definitely. I think I used it like a week ago. I think it still works.
Cool. Oh, this was good though.
Yeah.
Just a combo because, like, honestly, we didn't follow any questions.
Okay.
You're a homie.
No, I was sick.
First time we met, and like, you're sick, dude. I appreciate you a lot.
I appreciate you being on this podcast. My first podcast, so.
I feel like you'd be a good YouTuber too, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like maybe you do some YouTube now too.
I've tried in the past. I don't want to show you guys any videos. It's kind of embarrassing, but I think everyone has tried YouTube in the past.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I keep my videos from 3.5 years ago up, and I'm like, I cringe watching them, but
at the end of the day,
it's stepping stones.
Yeah, it definitely is.
For sure.
Cool.
Are we calling it?
Yeah, I think that's some we had some good conversation. I guess. Are you comfortable sharing maybe your social media?
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm here for.
Especially, if people want to know how they can find you, maybe ask a couple of questions or maybe get coached by you, whatever it might be. Where can they find you?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram at andrewy.u. hopefully your editor can put this up because I think it's like a weird name.
We'll put it in the description.
All right, yeah. So you can find me there. I also answer to like any questions, even if it's just like a beginner asking question. If it's not like too much of my time, I just like write back real quick.
Don't ask how do I find a winning product.
I mean, you can ask me that too. I don't mind. Just don't ask what is your product because I had some people like,
what's your store?
Yeah, I've had some people swipe on my story, go like, hey, what are you selling? Like, bro, I'm like, what?
Reverse Uno card. Yeah.
This was good though. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on.
This
is it.
Actually, you
do the outro. However you want to do it.
What's the outro?
No, just be like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
All that, and then I'll see you in the next one.
Well, like, subscribe, comment. You know where to find us. This is New Money Talks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.